Imagine driving as much as 6, 7, even 800 views per day with just one video. Here's how I've done that and how you can too by triggering the YouTube suggested video algorithm.
Brian G. Johnson.
Hey, I'm Nick Nimmin. What Brian is getting ready to share with you in this video is going to help you drive more views. So do this. Make sure that you watch this entire video because it's a winner. And make sure you subscribe too. Brian?
I published this video when my channel was just 24 days old. And within days, the video was driving considerable views through both search and suggested locations on YouTube. Now it's your turn. The secret lies in these 5 words written by a Google engineer. Expected watch time per impression. Now those 5 words come from a white paper that was written on the YouTube suggested video algorithm. Check this out. Our final ranking objective is constantly being tuned based on live A/B split testing, but is generally a simple function of expected watch time per impression. Now a video with 10,000 views is measured exactly the same as a video with 100 views. And furthermore, the video with 10,000 views doesn't gain any kind of advantage or boost. For example, imagine 2 videos that are listed in the suggested location on a video watch page. And both videos receive 100 impressions from YouTube each day. Now it's important to note an impression is just YouTube refreshing the page. When you land on a page, the page loads and that's an impression. If nobody clicks on your video, that's still counted as an impression, and it's very important to this study. Now video A, the video listed at the top of suggested videos, gets 5 clicks per day and has an average view duration of 5 minutes. 5 views times a 5-minute view duration equals 25 minutes of watch time per 100 impressions. Now, video B gets clicked 15 times a day. It has thus 15 views a day and has an average view duration of 4 minutes. And thus, video B is the clear winner with 60 minutes expected watch time per 100 impressions. And this is why you don't necessarily need to have a lot of views to get into suggested videos, but you do need 2 things. You need, number 1, people to click on your thumbnail, your video, and number 2, it's important that you have high watch time metrics associated with the video you publish. These following steps will make it a reality. Step number 1, publish a watch time winner. You see, YouTube has actually gone on record and said the following: videos with consistently high audience retention and watch time have the potential to show up more frequently in search and suggested locations on YouTube. And in this example, my video, YouTube Keyword Research Tool, has high relative audience retention. And yet again, in this example, you can see where this video has high view duration as well as high average audience retention. And this is why so many fail. They don't have the required watch time metrics to get into suggested videos, but the secret lies in that last statement, required watch time metrics. Now, a question I get often is, what is good audience retention? And the answer is based on the videos that are already ranking or showing up in suggested locations based on the topic of the video you want to publish. Thus, by being strategic, by being specific on YouTube, we can identify topics that are much easier to rank for, to show up in suggested videos. It brings us to step number 2. And step number 2, leverage the 5-10 ritual. Why 5-10? Well, it's all about identifying videos that are showing up in suggested and being able to drive between 5 and 10% of the views they've already accumulated within the first 2 weeks of your video's release. Well, let me explain. Let's say I'm thinking of publishing a video on Overwatch, and I want to target Let's Play. So I'd go to YouTube and search Let's Play Overwatch. And because we're targeting suggested videos, the next step would be to click on either the first or the second videos that are ranking in search for Let's Play Overwatch, and I would pay attention to the videos that are showing up in the suggested videos location and I want to identify the video with the lowest amount of views. At the time of this recording, that's a video with 250,000 views. That's a lot of views. And thus, the 510 ritual would require that my video drives a minimum of 12,500 views within the first 2 weeks of its release. Now, that's a lot of views, but if I feel I can achieve that, I move on to the next step, targeting Let's Play Overwatch. However, let's say you don't have that kind of authority, you can't drive those views, you think of another search term that would still focus around Overwatch, in this case, Soldier 76 Guide PC, and then you go through the process again. In this example, the video with the least views in the suggested video location has just over 22,000 views. Thus, my video would need to drive 1,200 views within the first few weeks of its release. And this is a huge difference. 22,000 views in a few weeks or 1,200. Now, if your channel is brand new, if you're struggling to drive those views, pay attention and apply this same strategy. I've got some additional tips for you as we move forward. Now, in this real world example, you can see I targeted Patreon tips. I then ranked in search, which we'll talk about in just a bit, and that allowed me to eventually get into suggested videos, and it didn't take a whole lot of time. It took maybe 3 to 5 weeks. And this is the path to success. First, you target keyword phrases repeatedly. Second, you rank in search. Third, you begin to drive views, and then those views, number 4, help you get into suggested video views. Very powerful. Now, as you follow this blueprint, do not go back and change your metadata. Don't change your title, your tags. Give it time. And the reason why is time and time again, I've seen after a number of weeks, a few months, my videos do get into suggested videos. I drive a lot more views, and what you don't want to do is mess around with metadata that could actually set the clock back and hurt your ability to rank. Step 3, video optimization. Now, this formula relies on views that you'll drive through search, and thus it's important that you rank your videos. And we'll leverage relevancy because it's the easy button on YouTube. Hey, if you're a subscriber, this is new stuff. Keep watching, you don't want to miss this. Now defined, relevance means closely connected. And according to that Google engineer that I mentioned earlier, relevance is important on YouTube. In fact, you'll notice that YouTube search results are sorted by relevance. Relevance is the YouTube easy button. Leverage it by simply beginning your video title with the search term you targeted from the previous step. However, you want to structure your video titles to contain 2 elements. One is the exact keyword phrase you identified from our previous step, and 2, a buzzworthy phrase or an emotional trigger. In this example, you can see I'm targeting YouTube algorithm 2017, and the emotional trigger was upload daily or else. Now, my Patreon video targeted Patreon tips. That's the exact keyword phrase I'm targeting. And the emotional trigger was how I set up my Patreon to go from 0 to $1,068 in 38 days, which is true. Think about incorporating buzzwords like unbelievable, secret, dirty little secrets, you won't believe, buyer beware, etc. Now, furthermore, you don't want to just incorporate these kinds of phrases in your titles. You want to make them part of the language you use in your video. For example, would you like to learn about losing weight, or would you rather discover the missing link to losing 15 pounds in the next 30 days? And step number 4, meeting the watch time winner requirements, plus a few other elements that are important too. First off, the topic of your video should be a channel winner. And what I mean by that is you want to really test out, try different topics on your channel. For example, if you're a gaming channel, you could publish news updates about your game. You could create how-to videos, that's 2 types, and you could live stream or do Let's Plays. 3 different types of videos on your channel. And when you go to make one of these types of videos, you really want to focus on a content type or style that has done well for you in the past. Very important. Also important, an evergreen topic. And what I mean by that is one that people will be interested in the weeks, months, and years to come. Our goal is to publish a video that drives views for that same kind of a time span, weeks, months, and years into the future. Just like my editing videos on my channel are doing, they're driving consistent views months and even years after they've been published. Next up is view velocity. You want to make sure you drive as many views to your new video in the first 24 hours of its release as possible. Share your video on Reddit, on Twitter. If you've got a list, send out an email about your new video to your list. When YouTube sees more people checking out a video in the first 24 hours of its release, it's likely going to respond by pushing that video out to more people and ranking it higher in search and suggested locations on YouTube. And next up is a longer average view duration. And your goal is to have the longest average view duration you can, or to publish a video that is really a standout hit. Again, longer is better. And the reason why is, remember earlier we talked about expected watch time per impression. Well, obviously, when somebody clicks and then they watch for an extended period of time, that really boosts your expected watch time per impression. Now, obviously, publishing a longer video can lead to a longer view duration, but take the time to really plan out and keep the viewers engaged. Incorporate B-roll, incorporate sound effects. Really move through your script and share a lot of details that will help keep the view duration high. And the same thing can be said for audience retention. Now, I've got some tips coming up on that in just a minute. And step 5, best practices when it comes to end screens, playlists, and tags. Let's get started with tags. First off, really simple. Create 2 tags you use across all your videos. That'll help YouTube see that it's part of your channel and so on. Now, I just use my channel name, it's best practices. I add the tag Brian G. Johnson TV, and I also add another tag, just Brian G. Johnson. That's it. Now, back in the day, this actually helped quite a bit with suggested video locations. But this is 2018, and the practice and the idea of just adding tags alone is not enough. However, those other tips I shared will definitely make it happen. Okay, playlists. Now, YouTube has gone on record saying that when you create a playlist that is an official playlist, that's going to help keep more of your own videos in suggested videos. In other words, you'll drive more views to your own videos, very powerful. Thus, make sure you add your videos to an official playlist. If you're not using end screens, make sure you do just that. You want to incorporate 2 video elements. One is the most recent videos. This will actually help boost views to your most recent video, and we talked about how important that is, the whole view velocity. The second element you want to include is best for viewer. That will ensure that YouTube really selects the video it thinks the viewer wants to watch next, and that'll help keep people on your channel, extend the viewing session, etc. But what's really powerful when it comes to those watch time metrics is how you structure your video. Check out the video in the YouTube card right now to check out the strategy and the formula, the structure that I use. Now do this, stake your claim and amplify your message. Do that by subscribing. Click on the yellow B to the G icon below. You'll subscribe. I'll share the strategies and tactics that are allowing me to grow at a phenomenal rate. Things are getting very exciting around here. And you'll feed a poodle. I got 2 and they're hungry. I'll see you next time. You dig?